Alright, this is Andrew with Joda Home Inspections. We are doing a sewer scope today here in Bountiful. Today is August 13th, 2026, and we have the camera pushed out 160 feet, and that's as far as my camera goes. We're at 515 east, 550 south. This line made a turn around 135 feet. We're going to see that. I think that might be where it dropped into the city line, but it wasn't obvious that it was the city line or not, and so as a precaution, I pushed the camera out even further so that we could see the rest of the line as well. And in that way, if that is still your individual line, we're at least seeing as much of it as possible. Looks like a pretty big line, so I think this is probably the city line. And you'll see what I mean when we get to that turn. This looks like gravel cement. Oh yeah, this is definitely the city line, because that's another nose on. So that's a neighboring line feeding into the city line. Right about there is where it transitions. A little bit of a small offset there. Maybe a small root coming through. An offset is where the pipe has a little bit of a shift, and that's a spot where waste could potentially get stuck, and if enough waste gets stuck, that can create a blockage where it backs up. That was a real small offset, and so not one that I would expect to cause issues. So that was the turn that I was describing, so about 120 feet, and I think from here back is where it's your lateral line, and what we were seeing beyond that was the city line. Looks like you have a clay pipe. You can see kind of that red terracotta color. I think I've got a little bit of debris on my camera head. I'm going to try to rinse that off. Little tiny offset there. Another offset there. It's common with clay to have several offsets because the pipe comes in 3 or 4 foot sections. And so there's a lot of joints that can move around. Overall, it looks like you have good grade. I haven't seen a significant amount of standing water. A little bit of running water, but that's fine. What we don't want is the camera head going fully submerged. Now we're transitioning to cast iron. Cast iron gets real rough and rusty. It will eventually need to be replaced. You can clean it, and that smooths it out and makes it less likely for waste to get stuck. For being cast, this is pretty decent looking. We can't tell how thick it is looking through a camera lens. You know, it's possible that it's been cleaned recently or many times, which would mean the pipe would be thinner. But for being cast iron, it doesn't look incredibly rough. Alright, now we're just coming up the roof stack, so this is just a vertical pipe that goes up through the roof. It's really nothing that we're evaluating here. That first turn was a little bit difficult to get through. but I was able to get my camera head through that. Overall, it looks like the line's performing the way that you want it to be. You have a couple offsets, but they're pretty minor. Looked like you had good grade for the most part. A couple little splashes here and there, but overall it looked good. And then some cast iron under the house. Cast iron is probably the weakest link. I would consider getting the insurance on the line with HomeServe, and they would help offset the cost if there's ever an issue, or if the line needs to be cleaned out. They can put money towards that, especially with clay and with some trees in the yard. With all the joints that clay has, it's easier for roots to work their way in. I'm going to end this recording now.